All right. Welcome, you guys. I am so excited today. So, today I have a very special friend. I had a friend actually connect me with her, and it is her sister in law who is going to speak, and she has experience with adoption. And I'm so excited. So, we met on social media. I swear that's how you meet a lot of friends these days. But this is Tiffany, and I am so excited to have her share her insight and thoughts and love on everything adoption. So, I will go ahead and turn the time over to her.
Thank you so much. Like she said, my name is Tiffany Hooper. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and I am a mom because of adoption. A few years ago, after being married, I think we were married 7 years, no kids, no close calls, nothing like that. My husband and I started to get concerned. And so we decided to save up a little bit of money and go to a fertility clinic. And we walked in hoping to walk out with a prescription for Clomid and start down that way. But we walked out with broken hearts, and we were told IVF was the only road that was meant for us. And we were extremely devastated. My husband was just completing college. We had no health insurance. Our savings was pretty much being saved towards a house and being used on the fertility clinic. And we were just lost. We figured, hey, if this is something we want to do, it's going to be years down the road. And so we went home completely shattered, and we looked at all of our options. And at the time, we threw out foster care. And I grew up, when I was 15, I got 2 foster siblings. And I loved them, adored them. We almost adopted them, but great things happened with their mom, and she was able to get her life on the right track. And unfortunately, they did go home to their mom. Unfortunate for us. It broke our hearts. We fell in love with them. I was really excited. They were 1 and 5 at the time, and I was 15. So I really, really got attached to them. And so when we threw out foster care, I was like, my heart's broken as it is. We're not doing foster care. I'm not going to bring somebody in and then have to give them away. I'm just not in that place right now. Then we threw out adoption, and I had friends who were going through the process of adoption. And if you thought IVF was expensive, the number we were quoted, I was like, no, adoption's out of the picture. Maybe later on, we'll consider it then. And so we dealt with the reality of, guess what? We might not be having kids for a while. And it was a very hard, devastating blow. I was 27. I wanted to have kids at that point. And so we actually took some time and just prayed and said, Lord, what do we do? Do we just invest in the fact that it's going to be me and my husband, travel, do some fun things, or what should we do? And late one night, we're at the movies, and we get a call from my mother-in-law, who is teaching school up in Alaska in the bush. And it is very common up there within the tribes for women to come forward and say, listen, I can't be a mom, or the state is taking my children away from me. Can I have a say in who they go to? And my mother-in-law just happened to be at the right place at the right time for this woman to come in and say, I have 3 kids. I can't be a mom anymore. Take them. And we had just told the whole family about, hey, we're probably not going to have kids for a while. And so sure enough, they gave us a call, and it was super late one night. We were like, okay, what do we do? And we slept on it, woke up the next morning, and in our gut, as much as we wanted it, we're like 0 to 3 kids. It's not going to happen. I worked full time. My husband was still in school. We just weren't in the place. And so we went back to him and said, we hate telling you this, but no. And took maybe an hour, and the mom got back to my mother-in-law and said, listen, they're going to get split up anyway, so I don't want you to think anything about that. Take my daughter. She needs to get out of the tribe. She needs to get out of Alaska. Just take my daughter, who was 21 months old. 9 days later, we picked her up from the airport. So it was a crazy rush moment. I mean, we thought about it for a couple of days, and every single qualm that I had in my mind, everything that came up, you're gonna laugh, I watched a video, and it's Will Smith, yeah, bear with me. And he was talking about skydiving and how he was going skydiving, and the whole way leading up to it, he was hoping no one would show up, that everybody would bag out, and he showed up and everybody was there. And he was terrified, jumped out of the plane, and the minute he did it, it was amazing. And all of the chaos and the second guessing that led up to it, it wasn't worth it. And it was in that moment, I still get chills. So I go, anything I say, any questions or concerns I have, I feel like the Lord's going to guide our way through this. And sure enough, he did. It was a crazy 9 days, because during those 9 days, we were told, no, it's going to be 2 months. Oh no, it's going to be in about 3. And then not even 12 hours before we got her, we got yeah, we're coming. She's coming. So we picked her up from the airport, and the moment her and I locked eyes and talked about her shoes, we were tight. And we adopted. The adoption was finalized 7 months later, and she's 5 years old now. So yeah, it's been the biggest blessing in our lives.
That's awesome. So I know it's been different with everybody that I've asked as far as time with like finalizing the adoption. So was it the 7 month period you guys had to wait in order for it to be finalized?
So it's different because it was a tribal private adoption. So we just went through them, and it was kind of done on their time because the tribe had to vote and agree to let us adopt. Like we had her with us, and they were still like, yeah, this could still not go through. You still might have to bring her back. And we were like, no, 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 this can't be happening. This isn't gonna happen. But sure enough, they all voted in favor, but it took a couple months. They kept pushing it off the docket. So we had to wait. Once that was finalized, it got lost in the mail. It took time. And so by Christmas it was done, but it took my once again, my mother-in-law coming down for her Christmas holiday to bring us the birth certificate, or else we probably wouldn't have gotten it for a couple more months. So we had to expedite a few things, but yeah, it was about 7 months.
That's crazy. So does your mother-in-law live up there permanently? Is that what you said? I think maybe I missed that.
So she was teaching up there at the time. They're not anymore. They were up there for a few years. And so they kind of got in with the tribe and got to know them. And that was kind of the caveat with all of it, is they don't adopt outside of the tribe. It's a huge no-no. Even the mom, I mean, I am so grateful she took the faith on us, but she was shunned for a while for doing it, for taking this sweet little baby girl and sending her down to Arizona where it's hot. But it's not done very often. So the fact my mother and father-in-law had such great ties with the tribe is what made it happen.
That's amazing. And she's adorable. I could just squeeze her. She's so stinking cute. She's so
Thank
cute.
you.
So during that time period of like the ups and downs, like what advice would you give for people as they're trying to hold on to that until it's finalized? Because that's hard, because people that are able to have their own children, it's, you know what I mean? It's not the waiting game. Because I know with my parents, they had to wait 8 months too for everything to be finalized. And there's always that fear that something could come back to where, the child is taken.
It's really hard. And there were moments where we would get that scary phone call of, hey, we don't think it's going to go well. And it was just, okay, well, then I'm going to take every moment that I have with her when she's here with me and make it the most, give her the best experience. But we also, I just had so much peace. Even with those phone calls, I would be in tears. I'd call my husband so upset because they were going to take my baby away from me, and so frustrated. But at the same time, I also felt so much peace from the moment we said yes to the way everything just folded out. I felt like we were being guided through it. It was meant to happen. Even, now there's not a doubt in my mind. This girl was meant to be my daughter, without a doubt. And so there was just that hope there, and that just trying to be calm, but enjoy every single moment, just in case she did get taken. I could at least look back on those times and say, we had a great run while she was here. I have great memories, which I'm glad we're still making those memories.
No, I love that. I think that's great. I love it. So obviously you have your beautiful daughter, but what are some of the biggest blessings that have come because of adoption for you and your husband?
You know what? You really get a sense of the community. I think that was the craziest part. Like I said, we had nothing. We had a car seat when we picked her up, and I posted on social media. Hey, it was on Mother's Day. So it was a big deal. I was like, I became a mom on Mother's Day, and had a picture of her and I. We ended up going to see my husband's grandparents to introduce her and stuff like that. By the time we got home, we had a pack and play lined up. My mom was on her way to the crib that I slept in. I went back to work 2 days later. I couldn't take time off. It was just too crazy. But my boss allowed me to bring my daughter to work with me for a year and a half. She came with me every single day. Every day I'd walk into buckets of clothes, toys, furniture, anything we could have ever wanted. People just came and donated. And it was such a blessing, because that was one of the things I was so terrified of, is we have nothing. She's going to be sleeping in our bed right now. And so the fact everybody just had no problem helping us out, it was just so much. And even then, for months afterwards, we'd be somewhere and they'd be like, oh, I have something for you. Just come on over. And they just give it to us. No, we tried to pay people to say, hey, thank you for giving us this. And they're like, nope, we just want to help. And that to me was a big deal because adoption and even infertility is not something you get out there and talk about. And so the fact that we started to, and it opened up the conversation, and we even found out so many people who, were adopted. Or, I mean, there was a lady who I was I had no idea she adopted her daughter, and she came in with stories, advice. The lawyer we actually ended up using, she was adopted. And she worked within my office. And so I had no idea until she came in. She's like, oh yeah, I'm adopted. Let me help you out. This is what you need to do. There was just such a strong sense of community. That was my biggest blessing because it really took a village, and I felt supported the whole way through by family and through friends.
I love it. And that to me, I mean, whether you have, I have a faith in God, but like to me, 100%, like that is God's hand the entire time because it's meant to be. And like, that's how with me and my story with my birth family is the same exact thing. I'm just like, that solidified my belief in God, not until I was 30, but like, holy cow, like, I'm like, dude, the Lord is real, people. I promise you. Like, it's
crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay. And then what advice would you give for people, tips, tricks, anything like that, that are wanting to adopt? Because I know, like you said, yours was private, but there's also agencies. What advice do you have there?
So we never dealt with an agency. I have friends who have, and if you are dealing with an agency, please just keep going with it. I know it gets frustrating. I've had so many, the scrapbook is like the breaking point for women. I swear, when they have to make like that little resume, oh, it's their breaking point. Just keep going. It's worth it. For anyone who's considering adopting, hasn't looked at it, doesn't even want to do an agency, I've actually had a lot of friends who have had success with creating a profile or a website and asking for help and doing a private adoption, looking for people who, don't want to keep their child and are thinking of adopting, and just cutting out that middleman, because there's been a lot of problems. And as you probably know, there's a lot of legal issues right now with adoptions and moms backing out, and people have a hard time trusting that. But I've had a lot of friends who they're having success just saying, hey, if you know anybody, please get our story out there. My advice is just continue. It is hard. And it's the same with once you get the baby and you're trying to get it finalized, there's so much to it. Just keep going. It's worth it in the end. When you look at that child and you know for a fact it's yours, nothing is going to stand in the way, calls you mom, like it's just, it's such an amazing feeling. And that was one thing that kept me going when, we were struggling to make sure all the paperwork was filed. We were getting worried, because we didn't even have health insurance for her and we were scared. But when she would look up at me and call me mom or run around my house and have fun, it was just like, 6 months ago, this isn't where we were at. I will go through this battle any day of my life to make this happen. So just keep going, just keep trying it. It goes a lot smoother than you think. There's a lot of horrible stories out there, but there's a lot of really great miracles. Believe in the miracles.
I love that you touched on that because I know that's a fear with a lot of people. Like that was probably the number one fear when I asked people, is that the child would be taken back or something would go wrong. But to me, because I am adopted, I feel like, well, the risk is kind of worth the reward. Like, yeah, it's going to be sucky and it might take 5 times, but like you said, wait it out and you'll get there. Absolutely love that. Have you had any, because I mean, I know your daughter's a different race, any people say anything or anything different, or do they treat you guys different, or how has that been?
Yeah. And I think, people have made comments and it's really hard. I'm not gonna, there was a grocer in a grocery store who looked right at me and goes, she must look like daddy. And I was like, actually, she looks like her mom, her bio mom, but thank you so much. And that was it. I've also had, I had a friend who she was just stuck in a really rough situation, and I was on a judging panel and she had to announce my bio, and I'm guessing the MC didn't hand her the correct bio, but she knew me personally. And so she was able to wing it, but she announced to a room of thousands of people that I adopted a China baby. Yeah. And I was just, and you can see my face visibly on camera go, and she was just stuck in the wrong spot. So because my daughter, she's an Alaskan Native and they do have Asian roots, people do automatically assume, and I've been told, oh, you must have had to pick the litter. How expensive was she? Like people will say things always. And I think it's just because it's not talked about. Up until recently, people just made it's not politically correct anymore. And so it's gotten better. it's gotten a lot better. Plus, I feel like adoption is so common now. People don't automatically assume, even just she's in kindergarten. There's 2 other kids in her class who are adopted. And it's just so common. People don't mention it anymore. It's gotten better. I mean, there has been some comments, and in the end, we just kind of laugh about it, and just people can be ignorant sometimes. And even with her, we've had to explain, yeah, you're different. And I'm currently pregnant right now through IVF. But we've actually had people ask, so how are you going to explain to your child that they're different? And it's people, they don't know a lot about adoption. I mean, you'll have people ask you, so how are you going to break it to your kid that they're adopted? And it's like, well, it's none of your business, but here's how. We're going to have an open discussion, because you just have to be open about it. And yeah, it's been interesting. Like I said, we laugh it off. She knows we're different, and she's cool with it. And that's just kind of how it has to be. And I just hope that when people make those comments, she can laugh at it too, and just be like, yeah, I'm different.
There's a lot, at least for me, when you're younger, you definitely don't notice as much, because your mom and dad are your mom and dad. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You don't care, but like comments were made like that all the time. And I'm like, well, my parents are white and I'm a different skin color. I think I can put 2 and 2 together. But the thing is that, which I can tell by the way that you 100%, she knows you are her mom. She knows her dad is her dad, and she needs love. That's all these kids need, is love and family. It doesn't matter the skin color. So I absolutely love that. And that makes me adore you even more. Like, I love it. Okay, I'm trying to think. Is there anything else you want to add? I'm trying to think. I think you answered all the questions I had.
Yeah. No,
and congratulations. That's exciting.
Thank you.
Oh, exciting.
Thank you. It's been a long journey, but we're excited. But once again, it's one of those things of, it was chaotic and there's a lot that goes into it, but we just had our faith and we've been led down this road, and there's not a doubt in my mind. This is the path that you were sent on. So yeah, if anybody ever has that gut feeling that maybe adoption might be for them, go for it. It's less about you, more about the kid. And when you get them, you will see that. I mean, we didn't know about like the violence reports or the abuse that takes place on tribes, especially to young girls, until we got her. And I'm being told all this stuff about most of those girls are abused physically, emotionally, and sexually by the time they're 8. So not only do I feel like she was meant to be my daughter, but I got her out of a situation that, if I ever won the lottery, I'm getting a flatbed truck and I'm driving up there and I'm just going to take all the kids. So that's just how it is. It's more about the kids, and you learn that real fast, and it's such a blessing.
Oh, I just love it. I think that's awesome. I'll go with you. I would totally drive up there with you.
Okay.
Just pit stop through
Utah. Big trip.
We'll go up.
We'll just have to explain to our husbands later and be like, but look at them, they're cute.
We'll be like, okay. No, I love it. I think that's amazing. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to do this with me. And if you guys have any questions or comments or anything, comment below, but I will also tag her, and you can go DM her, private message her, whatever, and talk to her. She's an open book. Like, when I talked to her, she was just so amazing. She just wants to share this with everybody. So I seriously appreciate you. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, anytime.